Hi everyone, we are Group 8. We are going to talk about the selection process of campus recruitment. Our selected companies are BDO and KPMG. Here is our agenda. Thirdly, we will talk about the background, then following by external selection, internal selection, and lastly, conclusion. Let's get off to talk about the background of KPMG. KPMG International Cooperative is a multinational professional network offering audit, tax, and advisory services. It has offices in over 147 countries with employees more than 219,000 people globally. Its serving targets are businesses, governments, public sector agencies, and non-for-profits. It provides advisory, audit and assurance, tax and legal, and enterprise services. Its mission is to deliver qualitative service to clients and to bring a passion for client success and improve the community. For the background of BDO, it is a global organization combining international expertise in providing the region's best available business and advisory services. It has 1,809 offices in over 167 countries, with employees more than 88,120 people globally. Its serving targets are local enterprises and multinational corporations. It provides assurance, business and outsourcing, private clients, risk advisory, specialist advisory, and tax services. Its mission is to provide clients with exceptional services.
In the following part, we will make a comparison between the external selection process for campus recruitment by describing, contrasting, and evaluating, and therefore providing specific recommendations for each company. For the selection process, both of them use initial, substantive, and discretionary assessment methods. For KPMG, the recruitment process starts by submitting the application plans online through its own job portal. Then reference checks are conducted to verify applicants' backgrounds. After that, selected candidates will conduct the aptitude test and situational judgment test online to assess their cognitive ability and predict their work performance. After eliminating unsuitable candidates through online tests, shortlisted candidates are required to attend assessment center, in which leaderless group discussions are held to assess the KSAOs. Through this process, most of the unsuitable candidates are eliminated and the shortlisted candidate can go to the following process, which is a verification test of aptitude test. Usually, no candidates will be eliminated in this process. On the same day, those shortlisted candidates will have interview with the managers. An unstructured interview is conducted with job-related questions in order to assess the job knowledge of them. In this process, only a few finalists are shortlisted to go to the final interview with the partner. An unstructured interview is conducted with CV-based questions and factors other than KSAOs, such as present organization match and motivation level are assessed. Finally, offer will be given to those who passed the final interview. For BDO, the flow of selection process is mostly the same as KPMG, except for the absence of situational judgment tests. And more detail of each process of BDO and the comparison between the two companies will be discussed in the next part. By comparison, the process of preference checks, online ability tests, and final interviews are the same between two companies. However, there are some differences between the remaining process. Firstly, for the application plans, the one used in KPMG is weighted, which means not all of the information contained on an application plan is of equal value to the organization in making selection decision, while that of BDO is unweighted. For the situational judgment test, as mentioned, it is absent in the selection process of BDO. For the assessment center, even though both of them use leaderless groups discussion, their focus are different. KPMG uses hypothetical business situation as cases to assess more job-related KSAOs like analytical and problem-solving skills. However, BDO uses social issues as cases to assess general KSAO like communication skills. For ability tests, KPMG conduct aptitude tests against to verify the tests conducted online at the effort of the candidates themselves. Meanwhile, BDO conducts the written tests including translation and essay writing to assess the language ability and job knowledge of shortlisted candidates respectively. For manager interview, unstructured interview is conducted in KPMG, while structured interview is conducted in BDO. More details of the process as well as the evaluation program will be evaluated and analyzed in the next part.
Next, I'm going to talk about the advantages of the selection process of KPMG and BDO in general. For the initial stage, both companies applied application blanks and reference check that provides pertinent information about the employees which the companies will need if the individual is hired. As for the substantive stage, two companies adopt very similar approach, except only KPMG using the situational judgment test. The standardized tests and assessment are reliable that allows the company to assess the skill sets of the candidates, including the way that they deal with different scenarios. It could improve the quality and efficiency of the pre-selection process. Finally, for the discretionary stage, that is the final interview with the team leader. It allows top managers to assess different perspectives of the candidates, including the cultural fits and personalities. Every selection assessment would have its pinpoint. For KPMG, the interview select structure and the rating guidelines. Interviewer decisions can be based on bias, including subconscious factors like applicants' attractiveness, halo effects, and first impression bias, and more. It would reduce the reliability and hinder the accuracy in evaluating the candidates on certain skills and values. In the applicant's perspective, they may easily get diverted from the entire interview and result in poor candidate experience. Secondly, as for the assessment tools and the methods used by KPMG are quite tedious and duplicate. They focus a lot of assessing the candidate's ability on handling situation and hard skills. They may not be able to evaluate the candidates in all-round perspective, including the personalities, and it could not be able to reflect the abilities with the replications of content during the assessment process. As for BDO, the unweighted application blanks has been adopted. From the employee's perspective, it may hinder the accuracy of selection process in terms of the turnover and accidents accurate, and the research shows that it has a lower correlations with the future job performance when comparing to the weighted application blanks. As a result, candidates may not be able to be assessed in a fair and quantitative way, and decrease the person job match accuracy. Moreover, BDO does not include the situational judgment test in the selection process. The test helps in recruiting process by presenting a realistic outlook of the role. Thus, without the test, it may not be able to generate breadth of knowledge about the candidates in terms of the task performance and counterproductive behaviors. As in the view of applicants, they may not be able to foresee the potential challenges and situations they may encounter in the workplace as well.
So let's take a look at the recommendations. KPMG conducts several tests with regards to one's ability on work while neglecting the importance of one's personality trait. For example, candidates resilient on stress level could certainly determine his or her detention or resignation decision. Due to the high turnover rates of private companies, the importance of personality evaluations could be a determining competencies to filter the disqualified employees. As such, it is suggested that KPMG could introduce personality tests like DISC behavior inventory or Hogan personality inventory on its online recruiting system. Besides, the current online system of KPMG does offer English to its job applicants, which provide convenience to people from diverse nationalities. But it is suggested that providing more language options to job applicants could facilitate the better talent acquisition. Like offering Chinese version of aptitude tests, it is beneficial to expand its business in China and acquire corresponding talent to Chinese people to deal with the Chinese language work. As KPMG has conducted hypothetically less discussion during the assessment center, it is better for them to conduct a structured behavior interview to have further understanding on one's past behaviors. For instance, questions like asking candidates' past experience on their interpersonal relationship to somehow predict his or her contribution to teamwork and problem-solving skills. From the table, a suggested rating scale lists the proficiency levels of candidates' answer. This encourages the standardizations of answer evaluations from rating, aligning with the initial targets of undertaking interviews. KPMG introducing structured behavior interview increase the reliability, validity, and the legal defensibility of the selection process. On the other hand, let's see some recommendations for BOD. In terms of the selection tool, we suggest the adoption of weighted application blanks. Weighted application blanks give rating scores to relevant items on competencies and KSAOs. For example, job applicants who have qualifications from Hong Kong Institutes of Certified Public Accountants could gain extra 3 marks. By conducting weighted application blanks, the company could proliferate the higher relevance of qualified candidates and more objective judgment on one's biodata and better differentiations of different levels of candidates. On top of that, we suggest BDO to adopt the situational judgment test to obtain a more comprehensive evaluation of candidates. As questions based on practical experience to achieve better prediction of one's organizational behavior, HR manager could make a better hiring decision to requisition a more talented candidates. Moreover, situational judgment tests help enterprise to further differentiate candidates who are able to show skill set like improvisation and interpersonal skills, which may not commonly and frequently state on job ads. Like improvisation, it is important in workplace, but it is not prevalently owned by most of the people. Owning these skills could stand up from their competitors, and it is valuable to the company.
Apart from the external selection, we are going to identify the internal selection tools of these two accounting firms. Performance appraisal is the most common internal assessment method employed by KPMG. It is a periodic assessment to examine the subordinate's performance and contribution in relation to the predetermined criteria. KPMG holds performance appraisal annually. Each option in the appraisal form consists with the rating of 1 to 5. The score of 1 indicates the candidate performed exceptionally, whereas the 5 indicates that there was an unsatisfactory performance of the employee. Although the result of performance appraisal does have a minor influence on promotion, it affects mainly on the allocation of extrinsic rewards, for instance, like salary and bonus. Interview is another internal selection tool used by KPMG. The purpose of this assessment is to assess candidates' ability and competency and decide whether they can take part in the senior level. Most interviews are held in the form of individual face-to-face interview, and screened candidates will be arranged to meet with their practitioners from team management grade or partner grade, then answer questions and take assessment during the interview. The interview consists with various types of questions. Most questions are behavioral, competency-based, or technical questions. For behavioral questions, practitioners will dig into candidates' past behavior and anticipate how they will perform the job in the future. For example, the questions like, tell me about a time that you were facing a communication problems or conflict in the team, and how did you tackle it, will be asked to the candidates. For technical questions, examiners will assess candidates' understanding on company's technical activities, like what skills the candidates think they will need to perform in the role they are applying. Apart from answering the questions toward the candidates will be asked for take case analysis in the following interview sections. Practitioners will investigate how participants would react and cope with the issues occurred in given business circumstances. Additionally, sometimes managers or partners would make questions based on what candidates has been discussed. So to conclude the strengths and shortcomings of performance appraisal, although appraisal has content validity, that it covers most of the job behaviors and provide platform for supervisors and subordinates to discuss about their job performance, is time-consuming and may less reliable if the employee's performance is not consistently or objectively measured. For manager or partner interview, it reaches moderate to high extent of validity and reliability, and practitioners can compare multiple candidates simply. Yet, it may deliver a biased response if the interviewers are not well trained.
For BDO, there are three major internal assessments. They are performance appraisal, managerial sponsorship, and assessment center. Since the performance appraisal process is similar to KPMG, so in this section, we will discuss about the managerial sponsorship and assessment centers. For the managerial sponsorship, it usually occurred in the promotion of junior to senior officer. Higher up refer to team managers and management, as higher up can identify and develop the KSAO of the lower level employees. They provide comments on the lower level by advocating suitable job incumbents to have promotions or recommending job incumbents with talents in other aspects to process transfer. For the assessment center, it usually occurred in the promotion of manager to higher level jobs in BDO. They provide a package of tasks for the job incumbents, including the in-basket exercise individual presentation. It will test the general capability of the job incumbents to deal with a variety of tasks. BDO will focus on the leadership and critical skills. Marks are calculated to determine the performance of the job incumbents. For the advantages of the managerial sponsorship, since the team managers understand the behavior and performance of their colleagues well, it will be able to provide comprehensive recommendation. Also, job incumbents will have high motivation as they acquire the support from the managers. However, it may easily causing bias because this method is only based on the manager's observation and preferences. Also, it may causing internal conflicts among colleagues, for example, the fairness issue. For the assessment center, since it have moderate to high reliability and validity. Through the in-basket exercise, job incumbents are able to see how it related to the job they are applying for, and also they will understand their strengths and weaknesses so as to improve their performance. From the company, data collected provide clear results for them to make decisions on internal selection. However, it is costly, time-consuming, and the elevators may occur bias. For the similarity and differences, both KPMG and BDO using the performance appraisal as the major internal assessment. However, the differences is that KPMG mostly focus on the performance, while BDO based on the judgment from higher ups and the knowledge of the job incumbents. Comparatively, BDO will allocating more resources towards the internal selection than KPMG.
Regarding the internal recruitment process of KPMG, we have come up with some recommendations for improvements. Firstly, for the interview of the job incumbents, we suggest the HR department can support the managers by providing more training on the interviews before an actual interview with the job incumbents. It's more fair to the job incumbents and it's also more transparent within the company. Most importantly, it can prevent biased response by the inexperienced interviewers. KPMG can also rely on performance appraisal on its internal recruitment, but they often just rely on the ratings and the manager's feedback on the appraisal form. So we recommend them to use a practice of 360-degree performance appraisal. It can prevent rating biases by just being evaluated by a manager. Also, multiple stakeholders will be involved, for example, like the job incumbents' peers, subordinates, and also their managers. On the other hand, for the internal recruitment of BDO, we have some recommendations on their interview and managerial sponsorship practice. One of the problems in that company is that the manager's referral may easily cause biases and also cause conflicts among the employees with no relationship with the managers. Therefore, we recommend them to hire an outside recruitment firm to assist with their internal recruitment process. Using an outside firm to assist with the interviews can help prevent unfair biases or advantages, as the hired experts don't have personal connection to the applicants.
Here is the conclusion part. For the external selection process, both KPMG and BDO adopt similar selection process, including application blank and reference check in the initial stage, assessment center, ability tests, and manager interview in the substantive stage, and final interview in the discretionary stage. However, they have difference in assessment forms. Each company will have its advantages and disadvantages in adopting its own set of assessment tools. It is recommended that KPMG should increase the variety and advancement in assessment tools, while BDO should increase the adoption of selection tools, the weighted application banks, and situational judgment tests. For the comparison in internal selection, KPMG adopts performance appraisal and interview, while BDO adopts performance appraisal, managerial sponsorship, and assessment center. After assessing the internal selection method of KPMG, it is suggested that more training should be provided to managers to enhance their interview quality, and 360-degree performance appraisal should be used. For BDO, it is suggested that outside recruitment firms should be hired to assist with the internal recruitment process so as to avoid bias. That's the end of our presentation, and here comes the Q&A session. Thank you.